Welcome in, everybody. It is Game Time presented by State Farm here on NBA TV. Glad to have you with us. Earl Watson right there, the Hall of Famer Isiah Thomas. I'm Matt Weiner. How about the Memphis Grizzlies? Zeke said he liked the Grizzlies before the tip in San Francisco, and they lived up to your prediction and their hopes, winning on the road to earn themselves a playoff spot.
Yeah, Matt, I always said I looked at this Grizzlies team throughout the course of the season. This is a mentally tough, defensive-minded team. And not only are they, tough defensively, but then offensively, you got Ja Morant who can explode and have big games. And I always thought that, when I watched him play, even in Earl and I was talking about it in Trae Young, these are guys that can live up to the big moment in terms of this next generation of guards. You got Steph Curry, you got, Kyrie Irving, and the next generation is Ja Morant and Trae Young. And I'm looking at Ja and I'm like, what he's doing is pretty special. And I love the way he plays. I love the way he competes. And the challenge that he took on tonight against Curry, played him evenly, but Memphis defensively was just too good, I thought, for Golden State tonight, forcing, I think they forced, 22 turnovers?
20, I've got 21, but yeah, 21 a lot of turnovers. Second straight game for the Warriors. They've had 20 or more turnovers.
7 for Curry.
Yeah.
And 6 for Draymond Green. The two best ball handlers that they have out on the floor handling the ball the most. Memphis turned those two guys over a lot, which gave them opportunities.
That's been their Achilles heel, of course, over the years, as great as they've been. And for Ja Morant, we saw in the game on Sunday how much space they gave him to shoot the three. He's about a 30% three-point shooter. Well, he answered. He knew it was coming, and he knocked down those shots, and that really changed a lot for them offensively, Earl.
Yeah, that's interesting. Anytime you start the game that way, you got to think about it, Zeke. Players they just finished their warm-up. So you let them walk into their warm-up shots that they thought would come later in the game, and he was ready for that opportunity to shoot beyond the arc. But he has the grit and grind with the skill, which is unique. And you said they forced 21 turnovers and they had 14 steals, which led to +3 beyond the arc and +6 at the free throw line. And you watch this space, he's a pro, he's a superstar, he's elite, and he's developing. You cannot give him that confidence early. That is too far under. I would rather pick him up, make him play faster, give him no time to think. And once he got into his rhythm, he was confident all night.
Yeah, these are, as you said, these are warm-up jump shots. And these are the shots that you practice in the summer when nobody's around. And these, in the play-in games, these are the shots that you were getting and being forced to take. But you're looking at it with no pressure, saying, I got time, I can follow through, I can get my feet together. So, when you look at Morant shooting 50% from the three-point line tonight, it's a great job by him.
Here's his shot chart presented by Mountain Dew. Not only 50% from three-point range, but the 5 made threes are a career high for Ja Morant.
Yeah, and that just lets you know that he's constantly getting in the lane, putting pressure on the defense, drawing the defense, kicking out, making his teammates better. But when forced to shoot and forced to score, he's very capable of scoring the basketball, Earl.
And he's sticking his landing. If you watch games where players get into him and force him to shoot threes, his landing is kind of off balance. When you give him that much space, he's sticking his landing. Similar to, Mike's last shot in Utah, you tell young players, stick your landing, control your core when you land, and he's did that in those 5 threes, and he took advantage of the opportunities.
For the Warriors all season long, it's been a battle. What can Steph do versus what can his teammates do? What can the supporting cast do in terms of scoring the ball? And the answer tonight was not very much as far as the supporting cast went. Steph didn't have his best shooting night, of course, 13 of 28, but he scored 39. You can reasonably hope to win a game if your star scores 39. They just couldn't get much else from anybody.
I think they did a great job in the second half of playing his top shoulder and throughout the game. They forced him to go away from the flares, away from the screens. He had to move and fight and swing players off of him just to come off the screens, off the ball. And I think when you put a bigger guard on him, like right there, Brooks, it's difficult. He's strong, he's motivated, and make him finish in the paint. And Kyle Anderson, I coached him in the G League, Zeke.
What school he go to?
UCLA.
My fault.
You know what it is? He has one of the best basketball IQs, and to play that slow and to not have athleticism, his IQ has to be high. So he took advantage of these opportunities. I guarantee he was quarterbacking in the huddles.
Yeah, a lot of face guarding for Dillon Brooks. A thing that sort of seems obvious to me with teams that really rely on one star, especially like the Warriors without Klay Thompson on the floor, is try to keep him from getting the ball as much as possible and make him work to get it. There was a whole lot of that tonight, including that late possession at the end of regulation where they sent two guys at him and said, "You're not going to beat us.
Yeah.
We may lose, but it's not going to be you."
Yeah, and they double teamed him most of the night. As Coach said, they played on his high side, forced him to drive. But at the end of the day, he ends up with 39. He gets his shots. He plays a good basketball game. And you can't be mad at Steph Curry at all.
No, that's a fair assessment. Memphis moves forward to take on the Utah Jazz. Game 1 of that series will be on Sunday. We'll see what they have left. It's such an emotional, by NBA standards, it's not that quick a turnaround. It's not that far a flight, but emotionally, with what they've gone through to just land this spot, it'll be interesting to see what they have for the Jazz in Game 1.
Yeah, Isiah alluded to this earlier. Young players have this sense of not knowing. And when they have some success, that becomes the reality. You have the first 3 years of an NBA player's career to define who he is in confidence and role and as far as aggression offensively. Defense comes later, and they kind of ahead of the curve. So, they're the team of the have-nots. They expect to not be rooted for, and they come in here and they play with an edge, and the grit and grind is back alive.
Memphis was the deeper team tonight as well. Golden State only played 8 players, and from the Memphis bench, Bane, Xavier Tillman hit huge shots down the stretch. Grayson Allen knocked down 4 of their 15 threes off the bench as well, and that was certainly, if you can speak. That's okay, it happens.
But I would say
that was certainly a factor as well.
Yeah, and
you know what? I'm going to interrupt you because Steve Kerr just sat down. We're going to go to him. We'll get you a lozenge.
Thank you,
and
Steve.
You can collect your
and their team, their organization. They've put together a really good organization, good team the last few years, drafting well, player development. Taylor's done a really good job with the team. That's a good young team and a well-run organization. And congrats to them. I know this has been a long time coming for the Grizzlies. For us, couldn't be prouder of the group. Just incredible effort, determination. They stuck together. They made this season really meaningful over the last couple of months, and that's important. I think our young guys really grew. I think our vets had great years. So fun to see Kevon Looney healthy again. Steph and Draymond have just fantastic years. So I think we made a lot of strides this year, and I'm really, really excited about what's next for this group. But for now, really disappointed that they're not going to get the chance to play in the playoffs. It would have been a lot of fun. I'll take any questions.
Our first question tonight is from Jenny McCauley, Associated Press.
Steve, I know we've asked you so many times about Jordan Poole, but just to see him in those last seconds of that game, what he was able to do. I know there was a turnover there, but some of the shots he made and the passing, what can you say about just his growth and what he did on this stage tonight?
Yeah, he played so well, not only tonight, but the last couple of games have all been basically playoff games. The last 3, and he's played well in all 3 games. So just really fun to see how far Jordan has come since his rookie year. A season ago, he was lost. He was lost in the woods, and like most rookies are. And it's just confirmation that hard work and perseverance pays off. Jordan was in the gym more than any other player during the pandemic, and he's earned this. So thrilled for him. I think he's got a really bright future, and obviously will play a big role for us going forward.
Next up is Kareth Burke, NBC Sports.
Steve, what did you tell your team post-game after they emptied the tank?
That's private. That's for us. But needless to say, it was all positive, because I'm very, very proud of the effort and everything they put forth.
Anthony Slater.
Do you view this season, wider scope, as a success, and what do you feel like you learned about this team moving forward?
I think this season was absolutely a success, Anthony. We would have loved to have gotten into the playoffs and tried to make a run. We were really a good team over the last 22 games, I guess. To put together a stretch like that over an entire quarter of a season, that's not a fluke. We were the number one defense in the league during that span. And to watch Jordan, Juan, Mike Mulder, these young guys grow and develop, that makes this a successful season because of what it sets up for next year. I'm also thrilled for, I mentioned Kavan, Damian Lee, some of our younger vets who put together really good seasons and kind of solidified their own individual careers. That's crucial. As coaches, obviously we're trying to win games, but we want to help these guys get better. That's a big part of our job, is to help them improve. And that's why the training staff did such a great job with Loon, getting him healthy, and the whole coaching staff working every day with these guys. It's very gratifying. Obviously, a crushing way to go out, 2 straight games that were basically gut punches. We felt like we had the control of the game the other night and lost, and then really didn't have the control of this one, but could have won. We had the last shot in regulation. So ball just didn't go our way, but we've had a lot of great breaks over here, over the years, and a lot of bad ones the last couple of years, with injuries especially. So all in all, you have to look at this season as a success and something to build on.
Monty Poole, NBC Sports.
Steve, what do you think were the factors behind the turnovers that basically kept you guys from getting to the playoffs?
I think fatigue, Monty, was a factor tonight. This was about as wild as we have looked over the last 6 weeks, and we've basically been playing an 8-man rotation. I thought both teams got tired. They really struggled to make shots in the second half. Our defense picked up big time, but offensively we turned the ball over a ton, and we really weren't poised enough at key times of the game. That's why I kept burning timeouts. I was trying to get the guys settled, but we were just trailing the whole game, and it felt like everybody was trying a little too hard. And sometimes fatigue makes you play a little bit beyond what you should be doing. And so the turnovers, some wild possessions in the middle of the game, I thought that's what really hurt us, because we had plenty of time to get back in it, as we showed. And the effort is what got us back, and the amazing skill of Steph and his shooting. But we weren't sharp tonight.
Wes Goldberg, Bay Area News Group.
Steve, you talked a lot about how this would be a playoff-like atmosphere for guys like Jordan and Juan, and how important it would be for them to experience that. Now that it's over, how do you feel like they responded to that, and how valuable will this be going forward for them? Yeah,
they both were great. As I mentioned, the last 3 games have been playoff games, basically. And both those guys played big minutes and big roles, and did a fantastic job.
Nick Friedel, ESPN.com.
Steve, I know how proud you have been, especially in these last few weeks, about the way the group has come together. But specific to Steph, how much disappointment is there organizationally that you guys couldn't get over the hump and into the postseason, given how dominant and well he played this season? It's
a hard question to answer, half an hour after the game ends. Of course, we're all disappointed that we didn't get in. Of course, Steph had a spectacular season. You can make whatever you want of that, but we're really proud of our group and disappointed for them because we would have loved to have gotten in. So however you want to frame it, you can frame it.
Next question is from Tim Kawakami, The Athletic.
Just to be clear, did you have a timeout at the end of regulation there? Did you have called timeout? Did you choose not to?
We chose not to. We had our shooters on the floor. We had them on their heels a little bit, and we knew we were going to run our high drag with Steph and Draymond. And at that point, I didn't want to disrupt the momentum. We had the last shot, and so we chose to go ahead and play.
Mark Medina, USA Today.
Hey, Steve, following along the lines of we were talking about the big picture and this setting you guys up for next year, what do you envision what this group can be with what kind of growth you've seen, knowing that you're also expecting to have Clay and Wiseman back and some draft picks?
Yeah, it's exciting. We're going to have some guys come back who are so much further along than they were in training camp this year. And so our depth is going to improve, and some assets with possibly a couple of first-round picks, and some great veteran players like Steph and Draymond, and obviously Clay coming back will change a lot about our team. So very exciting. We got a lot of work to do this summer, but we're all excited about it.
Next question is from Kylan Mills, Cron 4.
Hey, Coach. It seemed like every time you guys got on a run, Ja Morant had an answer. I know during overtime I saw Juan looking pretty frustrated after he made that big bucket. Just can you talk about what Ja was able to do tonight and about his future in this league?
Yeah, he was great. He had a huge night and made big shots. He made 5 threes. They made 15 threes. They shot the ball really well, and that's why they won the game. They're not a great shooting team, and a lot of our defense was really to protect the paint and protect against Valanciunas and Jaren Jackson, and so sometimes you give up shots, and you just know going in that they're probably due to make some, and that's what had to happen. Obviously, Ja made 5, and then Tillman made the big one. He's not a guy you expect to make a 3, and so we're up 2, I think, at that point with a couple minutes to go. He hits that corner 3. That was a big shot, and then Grayson Allen made a couple as well. So give them credit. They made the shots that they had to.
James Hill with BNC Sports.
Steve, obviously not the outcome you wanted, but the future is bright when we look at the Warriors' way and a lot of the players you bring back and what you guys have to offer going forward. Just talk about moving forward, and again, it's going to be a bright future.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've already answered that. A couple of draft picks and hopefully some free agents, and Klay Thompson coming back and James Wiseman coming back. So a lot to look forward to.
Thank you, Coach. We'll have some players coming up here shortly.
Steve Kerr calling the season.
You're watching Playoff Central Live, brought to you by State Farm. For surprisingly great rates, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, Coach, congrats on the win. You guys are going to the playoffs. What does this moment mean, and what was your message to the team? You look like you got a little water shower there in the locker room.
Definitely bathing in a lot of fun right now, a lot of excitement. Just so proud of everyone in our organization. So proud of our players, seizing every opportunity all season long. We got a lot of basketball left ahead of us, but what a moment in time for the Grizzlies. Our players, our coaching staff, our front office, our performance staff, our support staff. This is a credit to everyone. It took a lot out of us all season long. One game to extend your season and reach the next level. So proud of the learning and the growth out of everyone, players especially. It's just a proud moment. But as I told them, we gave it all we had to move on, and I know we've got more left. And that's what excites me, because these guys find ways to just keep competing, staying together, put a heck of a game. Warriors, unbelievable team. players, coaches to go up against. And we came out and it took overtime against a heck of a ball club. And just extremely proud of our guys, individual performances, team performances. There were so many things that don't show up in the box score. The intangibles that we learn and grow out of this game are unreal. So we've got to keep building, keep fighting, but this is a great first step. Taking that next step for our organization.
Drew Hill.
Taylor, I have a two-parter here. First of all, where's your excitement level as far as being able to coach in the playoffs now and have that experience for yourself? And second of all, on the Jordan Poole foul at the end of the game, where he got 3 free throws, did you consider challenging that?
Yeah, I'm blessed. I've said it many times to be a part of this organization, to work with these people, these players. So I had the opportunity to take that next step with them all together. It's not just about me. It's not about any one individual. Take that next step as a group and to help lead during that process is really exciting for me. It's going to challenge me. I've got to find ways to get better. I'm going to rely on my experiences, but I'm going to rely on the great players that we got, the great staff that we got, coaches' performance to help accomplish what we need to accomplish. It's going to be a tough test in the next round for sure, but this is only going to build and make us stronger for the future. And as it relates to that Poole play, definitely was considering it. I really trust our coaching staff, the eyeballs that they had on the play. If it was clear-cut, probably was going to challenge. It wasn't clear-cut in our eyes. Preserving those timeouts late is very helpful. So it was a crucial one. Proud of our group to pull the plug on that one. Just really proud of our guys to just withstand a lot of runs. Fourth quarter plays they made to force overtime and then to come up big. I mean, our bench was phenomenal. Xavier Tillman, Grayson Allen stepping in, assuming bigger roles. That's the depth of our team, and it showed out tonight.
Evan Barnes.
Taylor, ESPN announced that you guys, I believe, are now the youngest team in 10 years to reach the playoffs. You've always talked about not having certain goals, just taking one game at a time. But just for this young team and for you as a young coach to get to this point, what does it say about where you guys are now? Even if some people may think you guys are maybe ahead of schedule, what does it say about this team being able to rise to this point in just kind of such a short time?
We just focus on us every single day. Timelines are timelines and projections and all that. Through Zach's leadership, the collective effort of our entire program, just understanding we want to be a competitive team. We want to get great people in this organization. We're just focused on just being competitive and playing meaningful basketball. The fact that we've made the playoffs is great. We've got a lot of wonderful years ahead of us, but we're going to enjoy this moment and reflect on what it takes day by day to just put in the work, to compete at a high level every single day. This is going to test us even more. We're going to grow from this more. We're laying more of a foundation here, even though it's year 2. Don't put numbers on it. Just focus on what we're doing every single day. The results will be the results, but everyone understanding where we're headed and everyone's role and responsibility in making that happen, and and being a part of it and doing it together is huge. And this is a reflection of it. We've talked about that all season long. Togetherness of our team, the spirit of our team. But very proud of the leadership of our players, Zach, our coaching staff, to get here, and we're going to enjoy this for the night. Get ready for a tough Utah Jazz team, best team in the NBA. And hopefully it's a tough fight, and we're going to grow and get stronger and better for it. But so excited about these guys, and can't wait to go for the fight.
Mark Giannotto.
Yeah, hey Taylor, you mentioned Xavier and Grayson. Could you take us through those decisions? Because obviously those are gutsy calls to go with Xavier over Jaren when Jonas fouled out, and also to go to Grayson over Bain in overtime, and both moves paid off. What was your, process with those 2 moves?
Gut feel, a lot of conversations with our coaching staff prior to tonight's game, during the game. Really tough calls for sure. With the foul trouble, with JJ and JV just throwing off the rhythm. For those guys, I thought, X stepped in the first half, did a lot of good things defensively, his length, his activity, blocking shots, rebounds. Obviously making big-time shots there throughout the game, especially in that fourth quarter, were huge, but 50-50 balls. It was just a gut feel. Obviously, going forward and all that stuff, we know how important JV and JJ are, and having them on the floor, it's a gut feel in the game. Grayson, I thought Des was doing some good things. Grayson was doing some good things, but that last stretch just made a call, for defensive purposes and the chance that maybe Grayson would go out there and make a couple threes, and he did. So it's a credit to those guys, our entire team staying ready. You never know when your number's called. You never know how the game's going to unfold. Guys in foul trouble, guys in and out, rhythms off or whatnot. Tough calls to make for sure, but I know our depth's going to be super important in the next round.
Josh Robbins.
Thank you. Taylor, what did you like most about Ja's performance tonight?
Just staying poised throughout the game. I mean, against an aggressive team and the Warriors, a lot of game plan, for him, different matchups thrown at him, the physicality. I thought as the game went on, we just kept talking to him about still being aggressive and getting to his sweet spots, big-time floaters, big-time finishes late in the game, organization, leadership on the court, just that next play mentality. I think he did a lot of great things offensively, getting our guys organized, everyone responding to what actions we wanted to run. But I think another thing is him defensively did a lot of great things, chasing shooters, hedging, double teaming and pick and rolls, staying connected to guys, weak side help. Big emphasis, from the last game against Golden State where we didn't do a good job. Challenged him, especially defensively, and he rose to the occasion. Did brilliantly tonight, and he's built for these moments, and I'm proud that he played to that level that we expect and he expects of himself, and we know we're going to get him better and better and better moving forward.
Heard Taylor Jenkins talk about the Memphis bench, which enjoyed a 13-point advantage over Golden State's. Grayson Allen knocked down 4 threes for 12 points. And here's Allen and his thoughts on moving on to the first round against Utah.
This was a game that outside of Memphis, not a lot of people gave you guys a chance to win this game. How much do you guys use that as motivation? And in that vein, how satisfying is this win?
Yeah, I think we just have we kind of accept that underdog mentality, and we know that going into this, we're the underdogs. The Warriors are the team that's been there for the last few years, and they have Steph, they have Draymond, guys that have been in the playoffs, guys that have won championships. So we